Okay, so we'll start our prepared speech projects. I hope everyone is feeling loquacious and ready to listen. He is doing Pathways Motivational Strategies Level 1. His speech project is on evaluation and feedback, and he's on his second speech. The objective of his speech is for the member to demonstrate that he has applied the feedback he received from his first speech. His time allotment is 5 to 7 minutes, and the title of the speech is Mr. Bad Guy. His evaluator. Can I get a confirmation if it's Okay, so his evaluator will be Distinguished Toastmaster Nonalyn Hermogenes. Let's give it up for Kenley Liong, Mr. Bad Guy. Mr. Bad Guy, Kenley Liong.
When I was young, I looked up to heroes. But as I grew older, I related more to the villains. It's one of the most famous quotes that I read in the internet. And as children, most of us would look up to good guys. But I myself consider myself one of the bad guys. It was one of when I was still young, I was already treated as a bad guy because all the other kids get to be the heroes. And why should I not? Because for me, even at a young age, I was actually more interested in the villains. All the other kids, they looked up to superheroes like Spider-Man, Superman. But I read stories from Batman. But why Batman? Well, first of all, the hero itself is not like the other heroes. He has flaws. He was antisocial. But most importantly, Batman's stories had the most interesting villains in different comics. And why is that? Bad guys are interesting. You could see it in films nowadays. Disney releases movies about villains. Superhero movies even try to make it dark because that's the appeal. So why is that? First of all, it's because I believe that bad is awesome. Being bad is so appealing. They show freedom, power, the expressions. Imagine the impact when you say someone is, oh, he's a good boy. No impact. But when I say, I'm bad, really makes an impact, doesn't it? Also, the good guys always win, but the bad guys, not so much. And that's what makes them interesting. Why would you want to be interested in heroes who always win? They're so predictable. You know that they're going to win. You know they're going to catch the bad guys. But what about the bad guys who plan, who train? All their hard work, and then suddenly they're gone. It's so interesting to view them because you never know when they may actually succeed. But most importantly, for me, it's because the bad guys are actually more relatable. Think about it. All of us are humans. We're not aliens. We're not gods. We're humans who make mistakes. And I believe that's the most touching aspect for me. The relatability. Looking back into the aspects that got me into the bad guys, they say that the bad guys are awesome, they're good, they're awesome, and really look up to them because deep down inside, We all have our needs and wants, and so do them. And also, why do they not always win? It's because life is that way. Even us, even I have tried my whole life, and I don't always win. That's why I relate to them. But most importantly, being considered a bad guy and seeing the other side of the story makes me empathize more with other people. The story goes, there are two sides of the story, the heroes and the villains. However, as they say, there are two sides of the story. If you flip the perspectives around, you get another story. And that is why there are more stories nowadays, movies about the perspectives of the villains. And you realize that they're more human and they're not that bad after all. I feel that I'm one of the bad guys, but everyone is the hero of their own stories. But in some stories, I'm the bad guy. But who can tell? In a story right now, am I the bad guy? Are we all bad guys trying to take over the Toastmasters world? Who knows? One thing's for sure. We must first learn the story of the other person before we actually judge who they are. Are they the good guys, the bad guys? Who knows? They may be just some loquacious character. But the only way to find out is to learn before judging. And I believe that by learning the other person's story, we might find out that there's no such thing as good or bad guys. There's just us, people. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Youth.
Thank you, Kenley, for helping us rethink what it means to be a good guy or a bad guy and see the villains in a different way.
Our first evaluator will be Distinguished Toastmaster Nonalyn, who will be evaluating Toastmaster Kenley's speech. DTM Nonalyn.
Hi, thank you very much, our International President Richard. And Toastmaster Kenley, you're such a loquacious speaker tonight. I appreciate you delivered your speech standing. There is power. And I can feel the hero in you and not the bad guy. Your first feedback or evaluation are the following: more vocal variety and purposeful body gestures, and provide a personal experience. If I may suggest on your opening, instead of a statement like "when I was young," you may ask a question like, "Who is your hero?" And with regards to your vocal variety, your voice was so calm and so sweet. You know, I wonder, do you ever get angry? Maybe you could just put some stressing points when you said Batman, our hero, a villain, something like that. And also, I've noticed that you make use of your hand gestures and even your eyes when you said, "I am a bad guy," and then you make use of your eyes, and I love it. Towards the end, I was waiting for an incident from you when you said, "I don't always win. I am a bad guy." You may cite an example like when you, like for example, when you join the sports or the basketball and then you don't win. You can relate. What is your feeling with not winning? Are you a bad guy then? So I just want to hear something like that. And then you have also mentioned that bad guys are relatable. You may also cite an instance like maybe you have bullied someone when you were young, or any instances wherein you have an experience when you were young or when you were in college, something like that. But with that, Toastmaster Kenley, I love your personal story, of struggle and transformation. My only recommendation is towards the end, Toastmaster Kenley, you might as well give us a question like, who is your hero? Are you a hero or a villain? So with that, thank you very much. And back to you, our General Evaluator, Richard.
Thank you, DTM Nonalyn, for that great evaluation.